I'll let you two respond to that, and then I have a remark
Yeah,
in response to
I
him.
agree with that, very strongly. I think that was very well put. And I just wanted to add one other thing, and then raise a different question. You know, a lot of times scientists say things about these things. We've talked about this before, and I've certainly heard the same comment about, you know, science and nature just being, you know, comic books or whatever. But I think you just have to be super careful about what scientists say about science, because there are all these kinds of urban legends that go around. And in my opinion, you know, not to be too harsh, but I think a lot of the criticisms of science and nature are sour grapes by people who have not managed to kind of hit those standards, and so then they want an account for it, and they say, oh, well, they don't publish robust things, it's not detailed, you can't really put real data into that. And, you know, there's some truth in those complaints. If you really wanted to know for sure how well these papers in Science and Nature stand up, you know, you could do that work, and you could use Web of Science to look at the citations of those articles and to look at how they're being cited and how they're being used. And, you know, you're talking just now has given me some ideas for some things you could actually do with that could be interesting to look at, you know, the top 100 papers published, you know, top 100 cited papers in the field of climate science, and see who's citing them and how are they being used by other scientists, but also, you know, outside of narrow specialties. But it's a really, really complicated question. It would take a lot of work to really get at it in a rigorous, in a scientifically rigorous way.